territory of forgetting, to some extent, that we're 19 games into a season. And there's been many times when leads have been hunted down and teams have been away with themselves and dominating the league, Newcastle United specifically, and teams have hunted them down. And that was Manchester United's of the past. This Man United is probably slightly ahead of schedule in people's minds. So the fact they're in a conversation is probably more prevalent than the fact that the conversation was going to end in an outcome with Man United win the league. We talked about it yesterday. The discussion was, can Man United win the league? Well, they can win the league, potentially, if other people slip up. Will they win the league? Unlikely. There are many teams that have played under the floodlights at Selhurst Park on a midweek game and come a cropper, most notably Liverpool when they were in pursuit of the title. It's a place where teams find it difficult to play. Palace are a good size, and United weren't bad, and nothing lasts forever. And no, I don't think you discount yourself from the equation. I don't think Arsenal win the league if they beat Manchester United. I don't think they rule Man United out of the equation.
Wow. This is the thing. Man United winning the league is one conversation. Very unlikely, even if people consider us in or out of the title race, irrespective of the result today against Arsenal. But Simon Jordan and a lot of pundits like him want to continually kick the can down the street when it comes to Arsenal, treating Arsenal like an anomaly, treating Arsenal like a freak, treating Arsenal like a pimple, a spot, a yellowhead. If we do X, it might just go away. Kind of ignoring the fact that Arsenal Football Club are Arsenal Football Club. Ignoring the fact that if they beat Man United today, irrespective of City's result, they'll be 5 points clear at the top of the league table at the halfway stage of the season and competing against a City team who have had less injury problems, have a bigger and thicker squad, and have a far more experienced manager who have slipped up on far more occasions than Arsenal have. The disrespect is crazy. The disrespect is getting to a point where, as a United fan, I should join in and laugh at it. But I have my reasons for not doing that. And I know some of you think secret Arsenal fan, because of the relationship I'm in, I've got to back Arsenal. It isn't that at all, because there were large parts of last year where I wasn't backing Arsenal. Because when people were saying that they were X, I'm like, I don't think you're there yet. That's all I essentially was saying, is I don't think you are where you're saying you are. This year, I thought you were going to be a third place, maybe a second place team. You've been even better than everybody expected. Nobody predicted this. But the way Simon Jordan there acts as if United might still be able to catch them. I've seen big collapses before. It's crazy. And at the same time, the main reason that Arsenal are not being seen as title contenders, the main reason being, is because of Man City. Man City are so good, you're not going to be able to catch them. And I just think the way Arsenal were being clowned, the way Arsenal were being treated, the level of hate against them is crazy. And by God, if Arsenal do drop points to Man United today, you were going to see the raining down of hate like you've never seen before. The second reason, though, and the main reason for me protecting Arsenal, is I want credibility on the football terrace when it comes to defending my own football club. And you never get that. You get this, like, your club would be linked to a midfielder, say Declan Rice. And for 2 years, you say how good Declan Rice is, how much you want him. And then he joins a major rival. And then people go, actually, these are his weaknesses. I'm glad we didn't get him. I try not to hypocrisize myself like that and make myself look stupid. It's one of the things I see a lot of big YouTubers do. And I've never understood how you have the audacity to do it. It's just not something that's part of myself as a person. So if I see something good, I'm going to say it's good. If I see something bad, I'm going to say that it's bad. It's as simple and as straightforward as that for me. But I also do it because I want the credibility that when people start coming for Man United, I'm not seen as someone that only defends my own club on the terrace, but everybody else's gets shit on. Of course, if I think your club's doing badly, I'm going to say you're doing badly. I'm not just going to be nice to you for the sake of being nice to you. I'm not a transfer guru. That's what they do. But it's crazy to still see this narrative there. But City being the front runners, I get. But the way in which they're discounting Arsenal because of it, and then this next opinion, just listen to this and see how badly the mainstream media contradicts itself. Take a listen to this.
Change the game in that incident.
Right.
They've gone and then go to Crystal Palace, all on the high, and they drop points there. And that's how their season is away from home. Southampton beat Man City. Brentford have beat Man City. Liverpool have beat Man City. It doesn't mean that You're gonna just because of that result, they're going to be in the top 4.
So Man City, when it comes to Man United, so this is even pennant on TalkSport, same show as Simon Jordan. He isn't talking about Man United being in a title race, which is a stretch, or United winning the league, which is a massive prediction. This is the man talking about and writing Man United off and being in the top 4, and saying that just because you beat City, it means nothing. Now, remember, this guy said our 8 wins on the bounce meant nothing because they were against the smaller teams. You then beat Man City, and it's when beating Man City doesn't mean anything because everybody's doing it. But in the same breath, this same platform, these same pundits say, well, Arsenal won't win the league because Man City are chasing them down and they're too good. Make that make sense. Make that make sense. And this is the narrative that's being created because it's built on hate, it's built on disrespect, and it's built upon opinions they don't really believe in. But they're pushing these opinions because they're in pain. They're pushing these opinions because the cash cows are dying. Arsenal's already gone. The Arsenal hate, the Arsenal fans phoning in angry, listening to their shows are gone. They're out celebrating. They ain't calling in no more. And if Man United go back to doing, back to competing for titles, that cash cow is gone as well. To lose them both in such a short period of time is so damaging for these mainstream media outlets. It's unbelievable. So just imagine that. Arsenal can't win the league because City are so good. But Man United, they're not guaranteed top 4. I don't think they'll even make it. Just because they're 9 games unbeaten, and within that 9-game unbeaten run, they beat Man City. They beat, they've only lost 2 games in their last 16, 17. And in that beat City, in that beat Arsenal, in that beat Tottenham, in that beat Liverpool. Drew with Chelsea and Newcastle. But no chance of top 4. But they beat City and it means nothing. And in the same breath, Arsenal ain't winning the league because Man City are chasing them and they're too good.
My thoughts are Harry Kane to Manchester United in the summer. There's absolutely no doubt in my mind that Harry Kane is a world-class striker. That would not be the reason I don't want him at Manchester United. The reason would be we're trying to build a future. Harry Kane is not a player that's won things, but more importantly, Harry Kane will be 30 in the summer. He'll be 30 by the time he signs for Manchester United. Spurs would want at least £85 million. £85 million for a 30-year-old. I don't know that Harry Kane will be the same Harry Kane at 32 or 33.
I get what Mark Goldbridge is saying here. I understand his logic, but I think he's wrong. I think he is fundamentally wrong on this Harry Kane situation. Harry Kane right now, he's having a better season this year than he did last. He is showing no signs of slowing down, and he's in a team that he has to carry. He's at a club where if he isn't the main performer, barring Son in other seasons, nobody else really steps up. Kulusevski's done a little bit, but it's all on Harry Kane. Now, one thing I'd say about Mark Goldbridge is Mark Goldbridge has pushed this notion, and I don't know why, for many, many years, that you shouldn't buy older players. And everyone goes on about United's DNA, building young teams. We want the average age nice and low. And I get that you want a large proportion of your squad to have 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 years ahead of them. I understand that entirely. But Man United have got a lot of young players. Delo, sort of 25 and younger. Delo, Lissandro, as examples, young Malassi is in there. We need to really rejuvenate that midfield. But you've got young Garnacho that's come through. Rashford is still in his mid-20s. Young Anthony is here. There's Sancho to come back into the mix. There's lots of young players already at this club. And United will go out and buy more young players. That is going to happen. But this notion that we're building for the future and we can only buy young players has always been off. Because this has never been the case with Man United. And we've never really done this. United have always bought established players and mixed them in to a young group. In fact, we just did it this last summer. And he's probably signing of the season for Man United. Maybe even the signing of the season in the Premier League. But let's take a little listen to more of what Goldbridge has got to say.
He might be, but he has had, and I know he's been good recently, but he has had a lot of ankle problems throughout his 20s. Look at the tradition of English strikers. How many of them are playing at the top level when they're 33? You look at Rooney, you look at Michael Owen, there's plenty of others as well. We have this tendency of overplaying our players. And I just think Harry Kane at 30 for 85 million, when there's...
Well, one thing that I would say about Goldbridge there is he doesn't know how much Spurs are going to be able to charge. He's got 1 year left on his deal. Most experts think it'll be a little bit cheaper than that. You're probably looking more around the 65, 70 million mark. But let's just say it is. How much football has he played compared to others? You can go and look at the stats yourself. Yes, I get the ankle problems, but he's been past them. This guy has been playing regularly now for a couple of years, no major injury issues. And at United, there will be rotation. At United, he won't be the main guy. But just to give you an idea about Man United's past and what we bought before, let me just go through this list with you. I'm going back to the 90s right through till now. Eric Cantona was signed when he was 26, turning 27. Teddy Sheringham was signed when he was 31, turning 32. Heddingberg was signed when he was 27, turning 28. Yap Stam, 26 to 27. Dwight York, 27 to 28. Fabian Barthez, 29 to 30. Gabriel Heinze, 26 to 27. Edwin van der Sar was 35 years of age. Michael Carrick was 25 going 26. Owen Hargreaves, 26 going 27. Berbatov, 28. Robin van Persie, 29 turning 30. Zlatan Ibrahimovic, 35 turning 36. Varane was 28 turning 29. And Casemiro was 30 turning 31. And the reason I named all those players is because they were influential in Man United winning trophies. They were influential in Man United having good seasons. The only one that I was really disappointed with in these two, Owen Hargreaves' knees let him down at a fairly young age, and Zlatan had a catastrophic knee injury. And I think the club was actually too premature in letting him go. I think they should have kept him a little bit longer. He would have got back to his best at the club. And Mark Goldbridge himself in the summer stated that signing Casemiro for £50 million was too much. How is that future planning? It's a disgrace in the last 2 weeks of the window. To saying that take Casemiro out of this team and what would we be? Certainly not top four. Unbelievably dominant. And he's also made claims now that he should be seen as a signing of the season. I understand the notion that you've got to try and sign young players, but you need to get the blend right. The class of 92 are famous at Man United, but look at the age profile and the experience of the spine that the class of 92 played with. The Eric Cantonas, the Gary Pallisters, the Steve Bruces. And ideally what you want is a brilliant team that as it ages, you add youngsters to it. But Man United are not in that position. Man United are not in a situation where we've got a brilliant first team that we can add youngsters to. We've got to build a team that can win in the short term, and then you grow for the long term at the same time. You can do it the Arsenal way and build young and take 2, 3, 4 years to get to a point where you can win a major trophy. Or you can top heavy with class players that fit the culture and the ideology of the football club and backfill with the young talent that start to break through and replace them in years gone by. For me, I'd rather the latter because we're on the edge maybe of winning some trophies this year. You had Harry Kane. Harry Kane was a Man United player now. Do you know how much more confident we would be of winning trophies? You may bring Šeško in. You may bring Osimhen in. But it might take a couple more years to win a major trophy with them. It may. It may not. But I think Mark Goldbridge is wrong here. Man United's history, the most famous club in the country of developing youth, giving youth a chance, the most famous club, has a rich history of buying established players, 26, 27 years of age and above, adding them to a very good group of players and going on to win major trophies. And I think I trust Ten Hag enough that if he wants Harry Kane to improve Man United, it would be the right thing to do. Viewers, listen, I want your thoughts and I want your feelings. I want you to smash the like and the share buttons. Until next time, take care. Goodbye. God bless. And I'll see you all again soon. Thank you.